Hi everyone, welcome back to Reflect with Catalyst. Today I'm going to leave you with some thoughts to ponder on about taking advice. And advice is something that we ask for when we already know the answer but we don't want to acknowledge it or we want to have some validation on it. And advice can prove to be a double edged sword. It could be unsolicited or solicited. It could match your gut feeling or be completely opposite. So it gets very difficult to decide whether or not to accept an advice. Ask any new mother who gets tons of advice from self proclaimed experts. And very often, that advice contradicts with what the doctor advises. What should the mother do? It is so confusing. We all know that different people have different opinions about the same situation because everyone carries the baggage of experience and biases. So when somebody gives you an advice, take it with a pinch of salt. Know that there is more to their story and also to your own. As a friend, as a mother, as a daughter, as an employee, I've got tons of advice all through my life. And over time, I have learned to divide it into two piles: consider and ignore. When something makes sense to me and I feel like saying, I agree, I put it in the consider pile. But when something doesn't make sense to me, or when something feels like it is not my agenda, it is someone else's agenda, or when it feels like that person comes from a completely different understanding of the situation, I put it in the ignore pile. What helps is listening to your gut. What is your gut telling you about the advice that you are getting? Are you feeling uncomfortable because the advice is wrong or because the advice is right? Are you feeling annoyed or defensive? It might help to understand who is giving you this advice. It may be useful to ask these questions. Do they have your best interest in mind? Are they biased towards that situation? Maybe they've had some experience similar to this situation. Do they understand you and your situation? Has their advice been useful in the past? And most importantly, do you have the same values as that person? Give yourself some time to let that advice sink in. Take off some time, sleep over it, and see if you're still feeling annoyed or defensive. If it is an important matter, take a second, third, maybe even a fourth opinion from people who care for you, people who are experts or experienced in this field. Taking bits and pieces of advices from everyone and then collating it to make it something which works best for you makes sense. And here is the question I want to leave you with. When we are taking an important decision, we ask others for their advice and suggestions. We take decisions based on these suggestions. Our future depends on the decisions that we take today. So, does that mean that our future is a creation of someone else's suggestion or intelligence? Think about it. Reflect with Catalyst and do let me know what you think about taking advice or giving advice. Do you agree that it can be a double edged sword? I'll be waiting to hear from you. Till then, take care, stay safe, and do subscribe to this channel to stay tuned.